Aquanauts, engineering our water future. Only 3% of the Earth's water is fresh water, and most of that is in glaciers and ice sheets. So there's not a huge amount of water to meet our growing everyday needs. Scientists and engineers are therefore looking at new and different ways to collect every drop that falls from the sky and also create fresh water from our oceans.
Hi, I'm Arno. I'm with the Aquanauts. We're wild about water and how to make sure there's enough for everyone who needs it, now and in years to come.
Activate Aquanauts.
As you know, we all need water, and lots of it. So, where might we get more? Well, there's one source that comes to us, even when we'd rather it didn't. Over to you, Ravi. Hope you bought your umbrella.
Thanks, Arno. Yup, gonna need it as we're talking about rain. An easy way to create more water to use where we live, study and work is called rainwater harvesting. After all, it rains on average around 160 days every year in the UK. Rainwater harvesting ranges from using simple barrels in our gardens to more elaborate designs with tanks, purification systems and pumps. It could be a cost-effective way to help reduce water scarcity. Obviously, as rainwater isn't purified, we shouldn't use it to drink or cook food, but it's ace for watering the garden, washing things like our bikes and clothes, and even flushing the loo. Harvesting rainwater is also great as it helps stop surface water collecting. It can also help reduce the risk of flooding by limiting water in our sewer systems.
As well as rainwater, where else might we find alternative sources of water? Ephra's on the scene.
Around half our drinking water comes from groundwater. That's water held underground in the soil or in pores in rock. But there's another massive source of water, which you might think is a much more obvious source. And that's our seas and oceans. After all, they cover 70% of the Earth's surface, which is great news. However, and it's a big but, all the water they contain is way too salty. Whilst a little salt is yummy on food, if you've ever swallowed seawater by mistake, you'll know how horrible it tastes. So, with so much salt water around, is there anything we can do? The good news is, we can take the salt out and turn seawater into safe fresh water. This is known as desalination.
Aquafact.
Desalination isn't a modern concept. Way back in ancient Greece, Aristotle observed that evaporated seawater would turn into fresh water. And for many years, sailors used basic desalination to obtain fresh water, simply by boiling seawater and condensing the steam.
Now, whilst there's a bunch of ways to desalinate seawater, the two primary methods are distillation, where seawater is evaporated using the sun's heat and the condensation is collected as fresh water, and by a clever process called reverse osmosis, which forces seawater through very fine membranes, incredibly thin sheets, that catch the larger salt molecules but let smaller water ones through.
Thanks, Ephra. To find out more, we've come to the Thames Gateway Water Treatment Works, not far from where the River Thames meets the sea. Like the majority of desalination plants, they use reverse osmosis. Although quite complicated, it's currently the most widely used method, as it's efficient and uses less energy. Here at Thames Gateway, 85% of the water they take from the Thames is turned into drinking water. Before it arrives at our taps, it's purified to make it safe to drink, and minerals are added to enhance its taste. So, why do we bother trying to collect rainwater and recycled used water if we can just get it from the sea? Back to you, Ravi, for the pros.
Desalination is great because there's loads of seawater around, and it can be crucial in arid areas where freshwater resources are scarce, like the Middle East. It's also useful when you need to provide clean drinking water in areas affected by natural disasters and where conventional water supply systems are damaged or contaminated. Ephra, you're up with the cons.
The process of desalination and purification can be expensive and uses a lot of energy. It also creates wastewater that contains high levels of salt and pollutants that needs to be disposed of safely so it doesn't hurt marine life, and that means more cost.
The good news is that desalination can be more effective and sustainable with new technologies like better membranes to capture bacteria and renewable energy.
Aquafact.
Thames Gateway can supply 150 million litres of water per day. That's enough to meet the needs of 1 million people.
Desalination is certainly a key way to help people across the world get their water. There's currently over 16,000 desalination plants across the world. The first big adopter was Australia. Other big users are Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, both of which are desert countries and highly dependent on this process.
It's great that we can turn salty water into drinking water, but we must still be careful not to waste it. And you can help by becoming an Aquanaut and doing some simple things, like having a quick shower instead of a bath. Or maybe think about a career in water technology.
Water workers!
There's a wide range of jobs across the water sector, and today's water worker is...
Chemical engineers. As well as being key in desalination, purifying water and cleaning up wastewater, they need a knowledge of the materials in it and their chemical composition, and how they react with each other and the environment. Chemical engineers use their knowledge to design efficient and safe filtration systems and processes.
Cool. Now stick with us. We're going to be helping you understand the challenges ahead and discover some of the cool engineering and careers that are helping solve the issues. We're also going to find out how we can all make a difference, with more tips on how you can become an Aquanaut and help engineer our water future. See you again next time when we explore what happens when you flush the loo. Aquanauts, created with support from the Royal Academy of Engineering and Cardiff University. If you'd like to find out more about engineering our water future, visit funkidslive.com/water.